Hey everybody, it's me, JJ Styles, yo main man from Bright Idea Records. Those guys, those bright minds in music. Yes, located at brightidearecords.com. Or if you need me to be more specific, I can be like http://brightidearecords.com, but I think I probably don't need to be, right? Because you know, computers, I'm sure. Or at least cell phones, which is like the same thing, right? Pretty much. I'd say so. What do you think of this little camera, huh? Is it cool? Oh, you can't see it, can you? Here, I'll fix that. It's like whatchamacallit? HD? Definitely. At 100%.
I think 19th century was about the Industrial Revolution, about electricity, about disrupting the agricultural society and making it more advanced. The 20th century was about physics and engineering to do more things easier in our everyday life, from refrigerators to washing machines.
It's got like, I gotta turn these auto settings off.
And the 21st century is definitely the digital age.
And then
it's the
like,
internet.
Not. Okay, let's see here.
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or, build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
The LettuceBot is a robot that can sense its environment. Every single hour, this LettuceBot is seeing 1.5 million plants, and it's taking individual action on those plants. We enable lettuce growers to have higher yields in their field by helping make it cheaper.
Okay, that's definitely not being controlled anymore. You can actually tell how dark it is in here. That's
without
cool.
computer science and technology.
Configure it manually.
I have a really fun job
like
where we build
like
Polymorph,
this.
which kind of
like
combines all my favorite things, so programming as well as fashion and art and design and shopping. Half the products you use these days are software products that you play with on maybe your phone. And so if you want to build something cool, you need to know programming, right? And there's so many things that you can do with computer science. So if you just work backwards from the cool thing that you want to build and figure out what that is, a lot of times computer programming is part of that, right? So you should learn the skill.
It's really exciting right now. The technology that we're developing right now is going to be used by your doctor in the next decade. When you come into the office and you're sick, the doctor is going to be like, all right, spit in this cup. And I will put it into this magic machine, which is a sequencer.
Sorry,
and
I saw this
in an
on
hour,
YouTube.
I can tell you what you have or what's wrong with you.
I just
so
gotta
if we're
see
looking for
why
a new
computer
virus,
science
for example,
is changing
we'll
everything.
download a database of all the viruses that are known, and we'll search
and I mean,
for
I'd have to
our
agree
sequence
with
of
most
interest
of the
against
stuff I'm
a whole
hearing on the
database
speaker
of all
here.
viruses. So you still need somebody to analyze the data. The
Kind of why I got
not
into
smart
computers
enough
way
yet.
back when. I guess instead of
Our software helps
pursuing
people
media
save
full
energy
time,
and thereby reduce their carbon
media
emissions.
communications
To date,
rather.
we've saved over 8 terawatt hours, which is the equivalent of about 1.1 million cars on the road.
When you're forecasting the wind, there's so many different parameters that go into it. It would be impossible for a human to sit down and do all those calculations. We need a computer model in order to forecast it.
I write software which scans images, looking for bad images that we know are illegal. I work very closely with organizations like the National Center for Missing Children. I know that the work that we've done has impacted the life of people. And I feel very strongly about it because there's a lot of social problems right now that could really leverage the use of technology. It's a lot about empowering the people who are there helping the world by giving them the tools to be able to do better. That's something that we can do right now, and the tools available are huge.
The merging of art and technology is getting more and more significant now because computers and software are such an integral part of our lives day to day. People are realizing that it can be quite creative to take this medium of computers and create incredible works of art.
In Finding Nemo, when Crush and Squirt and all the friends are flying through the East Australian Current, you're seeing images of water flowing by, you're seeing the colors on the back of the turtle, you're seeing the sides of the fish. All of those things are generated through math and computer programs that we write that we then give to the artists, and they take that to create that final image and tweak it and make it look beautiful and look fun.
The crux of it is really about invention. It's about looking at the world and being dissatisfied with things and questioning everything.
I always felt like if I didn't learn how to program, it would be like not learning how to read. You know, the future would just be closed to me.
If you're in the coding profession,
being literate is
there's
nice.
so many things that you
I'm
can
not
do,
gonna lie.
and you can pretty much pick and choose the course you want to be in.
I think that you can start something in your college dorm room, and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
Really, it's about the chance to reinvent things and then
Should
see it
scare
out
you,
there in the
dude.
world and see people using it and having fun or having a
That's
better
a
life
whole
because
lot of
something
people
that wasn't there
that
before
depend on
that you
what
put
do
in
you,
the world.
one particular program. Is that what he was saying? Is that what he said? Let's see.
Something that wasn't there before. About the chance to reinvent things and then see it out there.
In your college dorm room, and you can have a
Oh,
set
it's
of people who
Zuckerberg.
haven't built a big company before come
Of course
together
he'd say something
and build
crazy
something
like
that
that.
1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
Really, it's about
Humbling.
the chance to reinvent things and then see it out there in the world
Yeah,
and see people using it and having
humbling.
fun or having a better life because of something
That's
that
the
wasn't there
one thing
before.
I've heard in this video that I'm like, I couldn't believe that was Zuckerberg when I looked up. I was like, huh? Oh wow. I don't know, man. It's a kind of a good thing to have distributed systems. Because if you have a centralized kind of layout, you know, like you saying, billions of people using something that they started up at what do you say? People that have never run a business before, and then all of a sudden they got billions of people using their thing. That's a big opportunity to have a lot of bad things. Like, let's say your servers or your system, let's say your software, let's say everything gets compromised. That's one really bad thing. Let's say your system goes down. That's another bad thing. Let's say that, I don't know. Let's say you get a lawsuit. I mean, like, and you got to take your system down. And then you got 1 billion people going, what the fuck? Right? And I digress. I believe the last time that we were doing this stream with you guys, well, it kind of ended abruptly. Sorry about that. I've been feeling a little bit, I don't want to say I got like the blues. That's kind of like, first of all, that's not very descriptive. And that's not very accurate. It's not the blues. It's like, I'm just feeling toxic. It's like the other way to say it. I'm just like a raw nerve. I think I said that on a couple streams ago. Like an uncircumcised penis with the foreskin pulled all the way back. Or perhaps even like a clitoris with a just sort of sticking out like a raw nerve, like a tooth, like a raw nerve in your gums, of course, humans, we're all very complicated creatures, and yeah, toxic is a good word to describe my attitude when I'm feeling like a raw nerve. So, you know, I don't mean to weird you out. Like, I've been talking about, like, music a lot more, because, like, That's kind of like always been my YouTube category for like Bright Idea Records and JJ Styles. Like, yeah, music. And you know, music is a great thing. It makes me happy. Yada yada yada. Hope to make other people happy, but like, I got some touchy subjects, and you know, we were talking about violence and how it's still like a big social problem, like in the United States of America, I guess you could say, probably the world. If I got a chance to travel around and check it out, I would realize that this is not an isolated problem. And I mean, most people don't even know what I'm making a big deal out of. It's like, what? Violence? Violence is just a thing. It happens. What do you mean? How are you going to stop it? What do you mean? Like, it's like, it's more than just a thing that happens. It's like an attitude. It's a climate. It's like, what are people willing to accept? You know, I was showing you that video of Yoda, like that was filmed 19 years ago, I think. Or it was filmed, no, like 23 years ago for Y2K, that's right. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think I've really had a chance to check my messages or anything, and you know, I don't know if I wanna. I keep expecting bad news. Don't ask me why. It's only been like that for about 19 years. Anyway, what the fuck? Like, it was pretty bad, right? I don't think anybody probably enjoys watching that. I mean, and it's like, some people, they might say, oh, well, he had it coming, you know? And it's like, why? And then it's like, oh, well, I heard he spilled beer and he did some crazy shit. It's like, dude, I was there and I didn't see any of that stuff happen that he supposedly did. Like, I walk up with the camera and, like, all I see is, like, some people standing around, and then all of a sudden they start shuffling around, like a freaking lot of people. Like, it's like all of a sudden from out of nowhere, people, it's like deer in a forest, you know? Like, they'll be standing around 1 second, and they'll, like, I don't know, you'll spook them like a hunter guy or something, and then they'll all just sort of scatter, and, like, that's that. Like, it was like that, man. Like, you just having a crowd standing around a bonfire, then next thing they're all shuffling around, and dudes getting popped. Like, bam, bam. Like, and it's like, what the hell? And, like, that dude, Yoda, I don't think you noticed, but he didn't, like, throw a punch. Like, he was being a pacifist kind of guy. Like, is that cool? To pound on a guy that's not even, like, attacking back? Is that cool, huh, people? I mean, that's so... Anyways, that was just kind of making my raw nerve that much more raw. But I had to make it, because, like, I had to create that video, that music video, like, because I had the idea. You know, when I heard him doing that, I was reviewing that tape or that upload for whatever reason, and when he's all, hey, you want to hear some Lagwagon? Check it out. This is Lagwagon, and he starts, like, you know, rapidly saying the words. Like, I'm like, man, this would be so cool if I just took it and put it to the actual song. Like, it'd be even cooler if I would, like, get Lagwagon's permission, but they're cool. I'm sure they know I'm not making any money off this because I only have 100 subscribers, not 1,000, and, like, you know, most punk rock bands are pretty happy to just, like, yeah, get free advertising, get free exposure like that. That's kind of a difficult thing to just, like, get from out of nowhere. So most are pretty happy to just get that. Yeah. But, I guess we're done with that topic. So, because I can't add to it. Like, that's it. You know? I was just kind of, like, recapping for you as a courtesy. And what else? I don't know. Was talking about, you know, a little bit about the an upcoming video that I'm hoping to make as soon as possible with all those little action figures and stuff. Got me talking about the band from way back in the day, the same band that was in that Yoda video, you know, the Zero Tolerance Task Force. And like, you know, I was trying to explain what it was like, you know, to like go through what I went through, because I don't really talk about it enough, you know. How could I ever? Like, you don't even have you probably don't have any, maybe you do. Like, you know, I pretty much have to think about it every day. Like, I don't really get a day off when it comes to the deadly rollover accident, because, like, I got injured, and I've been living on opiates. I talk about them a lot. Sometimes I even do them on camera, you know, because, like, when you need them, you can't exactly avoid them. They're the most addicting thing, like, that you can put in your body. Like, and the side effects of just every side effect about them. Whether it's when they're hitting you and making you itchy and sleepy and dopey, and or when they're wearing off and you're feeling your pain more, and you're feeling you know, the effects of like the dope sick. There's no other real good name for it. Some people call it withdrawal symptoms. I think that's the scientific medical term, withdrawal. And it's like, that doesn't even sum it up, does it? That sounds like you're done having sex or something, and then we withdraw. Okay, no, that doesn't even like cover it. Sorry. So, you know, I don't really get a day off. I pretty much get to think about the accident. Whether it's just like, you know, a momentary thought, you know, just like, oh yeah, my back's hurting because of that accident. Yeah. Might just be a momentary thought, or it might lead to something more. So, yeah, and I don't really talk about that. I've been trying to protect you guys for like 19 years, because to go on at length about something so tragic, where everybody died but me, it's like, it's not easy. It's like, I know, it's a drag. I don't want to be a drag. Like, oh boy, JJ feels like talking about the accident. Let's be quiet and listen. It's like nobody ever wants to say anything back, because, you know, yeah, well, it's like, what do you say to somebody that's been traumatized like that? You know, like, I don't know if we're talking about like a rape or molestation victim, or how about somebody that was shot with a gun? I don't know. Maybe they weren't shot. Maybe it was their parents that were killed. You know, like, what do you say to people that have had, like, you know, major traumatic events like that, right? You know, you try to not say too much, but you try to be supportive, because if you say the wrong thing, you just like, oh, you tippy-toe around it, right? Not me so much. No, you know me better than that. I got a big mouth, and I say what I fucking feel. Like, I fucking say shit all the fucking time, and I don't really worry about it too much, because I've been through too much to be self-conscious. Like, and I know I have the highest of intentions. I'm not trying to usually hurt people, you know? I'm usually trying to be a supportive guy. And when I say I've been feeling like a raw nerve and kind of toxic lately, I have been lashing out at bands and, you know, hypocrites, like, online. I don't know why. It doesn't make me feel better. But keeping it pent up inside doesn't make me feel better either. So, I guess I'm just trying new things, you know? Seeing what works. Which makes sense, because, like, I don't know if I've like really made it clear to like my stream watchers or whatever. Like, I don't think I've really tweeted about it. Like, I don't think whether it's in blog form or stream form or even just like a video or song upload, I don't think I've really said too much about this procedure that I got. And I still have another appointment in February. It's like this thing they call regenerative medicine, right? It's like they take your blood, your plasma, and they suck it out and they put it into a centrifuge and spin it around in order to separate everything, like the white blood cells, red blood cells, the globules, the stem cells, etc. And then they take it and they re-inject it back into you in your problem areas, right? In order to regenerate. Your body is going to regenerate itself. It's basically a way of extending the healing process that occurs naturally when a human body gets injured, which is a really great idea, right? I always kind of thought that like that's what stem cells were supposed to do. Exactly. Like what I just said about the regenerating itself. I've always heard, yeah, stem cells were going to be the key to that. And for whatever reason, probably the abortion stuff. Yeah, it's got to be the abortion stuff. Because, like, no matter how great stem cells are, I don't think anybody was really too excited at the thought of regenerating at the cost of a human life. Whether it's just a fetus that got aborted or something even more gruesome. Right? Okay. So yeah, I guess now we use our own blood, and it seemed to be working really well, you know, for me. Like I don't want to say too much about it because look, I got bad luck. I really do, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And I don't want to jinx myself. I know that's a superstitious, silly thing to say, and that, like, but you know, we all do have, like, an area, a subconscious, like, a lizard brain, if you will, that's evolved over time. You know what I'm talking about? Like in some of the science fiction books I've read, that's exactly what they'll call it, is a lizard brain. And that's kind of what it is. And God only knows what that actually controls. You know? What if by having negative thoughts, what if by being a negative person, you're like making your lizard brain a negative, like, what if it actually does affect you in negative ways? What if you tear yourself down from the inside by just being a negative motherfucker? And what if by being a positive person, you know, you actually keep yourself healthy? Like, there's not a whole lot of, like, compelling research to say one way or the other. And I got to admit, when I act bad and I think bad and I think of myself as a bad person, I feel bad. And when I think of myself as a good person, a helpful person, a nice guy, I actually kind of feel a little bit better than I normally do. Because, you know, like I was saying, I was in an accident and it kind of sucks. Kind of have to take medication for it, right? So anyways, why did I get this procedure, huh? Like, well, first of all, I mean, it's kind of like new. It's not exactly been available. It certainly wasn't available, like, what, 19 fucking years ago? Yeah, no, not an option. Sorry. No. Like, things like that have been happening a lot. Like, when I got my arthroscopic shoulder surgery, when I got my arthroscopic hip surgeries, yeah, that wasn't like an option. Like that was some new technology, and luckily my insurance covered it because like I really needed the shoulder and the hip surgery, so that was pretty cool. Worked out. They call it minimally invasive because it's like they take a little, like the arthroscope. It's like a little. It's like a filament, like a monofilament, I think, with like a camera attached and these manipulators, like that a doctor can operate, that a surgeon can operate remotely with kind of like with a freaking whoa, careful now, Butterfingers. Kind of like with a remote control, kinda, sorta. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever watched that House MD show, I think there was an episode where Dr. Eric Foreman was like working on getting his like arthroscopic surgeon qualifications, and like I think wasn't 13 there as well? Wasn't she like totally kicking his ass, like doing a lot better on that machine, on the controls? I can't remember, but it was a while back and I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, I know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. So what? Yeah, okay, so what? Well, yeah, new technologies, man. Ain't it something? The only problem is this stinking regenerative surgery, right? Or not, this regenerative procedure, excuse me. It's not even close to surgery. It's like an injection. And it's like 2 injections, like, and then like, so, granted, you know, they have to hit you a few more times. They have to stick you a few more times in your problem area. Like the blood, the plasma, that's just one stick. But anyways, like it's not covered by insurance, you know. It's pretty pricey. And like you guys know me. You know I'm broke. Like I'm a musician. I'm an independent you guys know me. So like I managed to pull off a nice loan. So hooray for me. Yeah. And the only reason I did it is because it's literally becoming impossible for me to score opioids anymore. Like that's the state of our nation, the United States of America, and we're supposedly doing this to save lives because so many people die from opioids. They call it an epidemic, like as if it's something new. Like people have been dying from smack overdoses ever since smack hit the streets. Like, but I guess the numbers have been rising, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm not in that field of work. I'm not like a census taker, or I'm not like a medical statistics. Like, I could barely keep up with COVID. Like, I heard that, I don't know. I tried to keep up with those numbers. Don't ask me to keep up with the opioid death numbers. I don't fucking know. But I do know that it's becoming virtually impossible for me to live like I've lived the past since the accident, basically. It took me a few years to get totally, like, strung the fuck out on pain meds, but you know what? The only reason I did it was because I needed a consistent lifestyle, man. Like, I did not have any consistency. Some days I'd be having a ton of pain. Some days I'd be having a minimal amount of pain. Some days we're right in the middle. Whatever the case may be, I had no consistency whatsoever to my life. And I don't know if you know anything about, like, our society here, modern civilization, but you're kind of supposed to be a consistent person. If you make an appointment, you're supposed to show up for it or cancel. Like, and you're supposed to know at least 24 hours before your appointment, no matter what it is. It's like, it could be an appointment with anything. not just a doctor's appointment. Like any appointment that you make, pretty much the expected thing to do is to cancel like 24 hours in advance. Like if it's 10 hours until the appointment and you decide I can't make it to this appointment, I'm a wreck. Like that doesn't float. Like sometimes you get penalty fees. Other times people won't even schedule a second appointment because you're like undependable and you cost them money because, you know, they could have scheduled an appointment with somebody else. Whatever it may be, like if it's somebody coming over to work on, you know, maybe you gotta, I don't really have to think of examples, do I? Like you've had like appointments. Like there's people that yeah. All right. Not everything is like a fast food restaurant. You can't just show up and order things with every, you know, profession that there is. There's a lot of specialists out there, and yeah, they require a point. What I don't mean to, like, you know, elaborate so much on such a simple concept, right, that everybody does, but that's just like one fantastic example of how I had no consistency in my life until I got addicted to drugs. That was like the one thing that provided me with any kind of dependability and ability to function on a predictable, like, basis. That's like it. That's all I needed. Like I tried to go back to college. I tried going to the U of A, and the semester that I went, I wasn't on opioids. All the most powerful thing I had was muscle relaxers, and I had to stop going to school in the middle of the semester because I was, yo man, I don't even want to think about it, but it was really bad. Like, you know, these university classrooms, they're huge, especially compared to a community college like classroom. It's like a freaking auditorium, I think is the right word. I don't know. And if you show up and you're seated off to the left or the right, you know, you might just have to sit with your neck turned to the side like that for an entire class. And guess what that does to somebody that was in an accident where they got their neck slammed 3 times by the ground really hard, resulting in bone spurs and like messed up discs and a lot of problems. Yeah, you can't sit like that for an entire class. It's just not, especially several times a week. It doesn't work. You gotta have I mean, even with opioids, you're not gonna do that. But without opioids, you're gonna be really, you're gonna be like freaking out. You're gonna be going, oh God, after class, you're gonna be like out there in the street or out there in a car or just going, my neck is fucked up. Oh God, I gotta go to the emergency room or something. What did I do? Like, it's kind of hard to keep it contained inside when you're like in really bad shape. And like you'll be cursing yourself out at the same time. You'll be saying, why didn't I just leave when I started to feel my neck start to ache? Why did I keep looking over in that direction? Oh God, I should just fucking punch myself in the face. Like, if I'm gonna cause myself this much pain, might as well cause myself some, you just really irrational thoughts, because like all you're trying to do is live life, and when life causes you that much like trouble, you just don't know what to think, don't know what to do. So yeah, folks, not every I know, like, not everybody has personal experience with opioids, and guess what? That's a good thing. Because if you have any personal experience, well, guess what? You usually end up strung out. It's not like people experiment with them. It's like you either get hooked or you don't. Like, that's the reason why they only prescribe them these days at, like, clinics for chronic pain patients. And yeah, because, like, it just, like, give them to somebody, for, like a lot of people get them for post-operative care. Like you have an operation, a surgery, a procedure, and, like, it takes 6 weeks usually to recover from most any procedure. The minimally invasive arthroscopic ones are a little easier to go through. Like, you heal up a little faster and you're back and ready to function a lot faster. But, like, whatever the case may be, yeah, a lot of times people get a prescription for the more painful procedures, like open, like they call them open procedures, where you get sliced open with a scalpel or what have you. And you usually have a nice big scar left over. Kind of like that one I flashed on the camera of my hip scar. Pretty groovy. It's like, it used to look bigger. Like, the scar used to be bigger and uglier, but, this one surgeon kind of managed to clean it up a little, somehow. Don't ask me, I'm not a surgeon. I don't know. But, anyways, yeah, and just even from that alone, just having, like, a one-time prescription for post-operative care is enough to get motherfuckers strung out hard. Depending on what it's for. It's like Percocet, I think, was usually, like, a common one for people to get after a procedure. Sometimes Vicodin. And, if you've ever listened to that guy Eminem, he had a few things to say about Vicodins, didn't he? Back then, I didn't know shit about what he was talking about, but I had a general idea. Like, they used to have public service announcements for just about everything back when I was a kid. Whether it's forest fires, whether it's, I don't know. And they had a lot of them for abusable drugs, too. So it's like everybody always had kind of a semblance of some idea about all the bad shit that was available back in those days. It was like just government policy, I guess, to come up with that stuff. Way to keep the public informed. So there you go. I don't know what more I can say. Like, that's all there is to say. Is like, I got injured, and I'm still injured, and I'm trying to get regenerated, and it might work out. It seems to be working out. I'll be done. I think my last treatment is February. I've already had like 4 of them or something, or 5 of them. I'm losing count, and it's like $12,000. I'm gonna be paying it off for a long time, probably like 5 years. It's like, I'm not going to be doing much, because kind of broke. I mean, I'm beyond broke. Are you kidding, man? I'm like, I'm in debt. But, I mean, well, it was a gamble. I'm a risk taker. I'm thinking, okay, if opioids are going to be this hard to get, I got to figure out what to do. I'm ready to try anything, man. And on my very first appointment, I said, let's do this. Give me something. Give me a form. Let's do this. I'm not even going to think about it. Let's do this. I don't have any options. I couldn't get a neck surgery. I couldn't get freaking scapular thoracic spine surgery. That's literally the worst spot to get surgery. Like, most neurosurgeons won't do that because there's a very likely chance you'll paralyze somebody, because it's a very touchy area of the spine to operate on. It's a really shitty spot to get injured, okay? Like, and why am I smiling? Because that's how fucked I am. Like, that's my kind of luck. Yeah, it's and I've come to accept it. and it's like, ta-da! Like, what else am I gonna do? Be sad about it? Like, I've been through this, like, for 19 years now. It's a little bit difficult to stay sad and wishy-washy and upset that long. Like, I kind of just had to go, like, hey, at least they prescribed me opioids. Oh, boy, it could be worse. Yeah, I know. One of these days I might just overdose accidentally and fall asleep and never wake up again, because, oh yeah, it makes you stop breathing in your sleep. Oh well, what else am I gonna do? I kind of need them. It's like I can't live a normal life without them. Like, I think I'll take the risk of dying in my sleep. Like, and that's why I was real careful to never, like, abuse them. I just, like, took them as the label said, because I knew how fucking deadly they were. And, like, it seems like nobody else, these people that die from overdoses, it seems like nobody has any, like, respect for the chemical that they're putting into their body. Like, I have a healthy respect for opioids. Like, I know that if I if I take a pill and then, like, I forget that I took it, and then if I were to accidentally take another one, like, that's not an accident, that's a major fuck up. Like, you don't do that. You gotta keep track of your doses. It could kill you if you don't. Like, am I the only one that thinks like this? I hope not, because, like, that's the way the doctor laid it down to me. That's the way my pharmacist laid it down to me back in, like, 2007 or 8 or whenever it was, when I finally got some kind of, like, control over my life again. Feels good to talk about this. I sure hope my microphone's working. That would suck. I don't want to have to talk about this again. But yeah. Wish me luck, alright? Because, like I said, February. I'm hoping that I am, like, completely off of those fucking pills that I take, those little pink pills. Those oxycodones that I have left over. I really hope I can just, like, be totally done with that shit. Because I think I was telling you what a bad time I'm having lately, because it's a fast-acting breakthrough pain pill. It's not a time-release control pill or patch, as the case may be. That's the way I guess some people get lollipops. I think of Britney Spears. Wasn't she, like, in the tabloids for a while with what they would call a lollipop anyways? I don't think it's actually candy. I don't fucking know. Never got one of those. Yeah, man. Celebrate good times. Come on. Good times, good times. I like technology. I like development in science. I like having options. These are exciting times to be alive. I know. I've got to experience some of the exciting developments firsthand. Kind of like this webcam. This is an exciting development, huh? Look at me. I got a goatee now. I think that's what the thumbnail's gonna end up looking like for this episode. Yeah, I'm like Rorschach from The Watchmen. Kinda. Isn't that fun? I like that. I'm gonna turn that down though, because it's getting a little distracting. Pardon me for a moment. There, that's not quite as extreme. Looking a little bit more like myself. All right. Yeah, that was a trippy video. That computer science is changing everything. I have something to say about that. I've been trying to think. I've been trying to think of how to talk about this because I've been, you know, I'm like a computer security guy, right? You know this. I don't pull any punches on my stream, and I try to like tell you about all the music shit that I do. I try to tell you about all the computer shit that I do. I even probably tell you more personal information than I should. Cause like, who does that, right? Like, but you know what? I really got no reason to hide anything from you. Like, and who am I talking to? I'm talking to you, my fans. Like, I got no reason to hide shit. Like, it's been a known fact that I'm a computer hacker guy since I was about 17. That's, I guess you could say I came out of the hacker closet at 17 at work. Because, like, some dude, this guy, I told this story on Twitch before. I don't really want to tell it again, like, here. It's just irrelevant. But let's just say that a fellow employee, a coworker, noticed that I was spending a lot of time in the Unix shell on the server and asked me some questions about it and recruited me to do some basically pen testing on his server. He was running like Linux. End of story, okay? And like everybody ended up finding out about it, and like it was really not a big deal. I'm just like a little bit nervous at the time because hackers had really bad reputations. Usually, like synonymous, the word hacker was like synonymous with computer criminal, and it's like yeah, you know, you don't necessarily always break the law when you hack computers. It's not like a guarantee that every time you're breaking the law. But I mean, there's a very good chance that you might break a law, like a Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1986 law or something like that. It helps if you don't commit federal crimes, which means you gotta kind of stay within your own state. If that makes sense. Like, if you're gonna break into a system, unauthorized access, it helps if you do it to one inside your town, inside your state. Because once you cross the state line, yeah, that becomes a federal crime. It's true. I think a lot of people know that. I mean, I don't know. So, what's the big deal? Oh, nothing. No, I'm just making it clear. Yeah. I've been doing this a while, this computer security junk. And, like, there's a recent development on the internet. It seems like people are taking security these days a lot more seriously than they ever have. And that's pretty cool. Like, you know, because there was a time when I first started this shit, it wasn't taken very seriously by anybody. Not even the corporations. Like, that were responsible for, like, the records of their customers. You know, every time a business gets hacked these days and a leak happens, like, they're pretty much, like, held accountable, like the businesses these days. But back then, it was more like the person that, whoever broke into the system was usually, like, the ones that were being hunted down by the feds. And nowadays it seems to be like universally understood that the break-in wouldn't have happened in the first place if this multi-million billion-dollar corporation didn't like fuck up by not having good security on their system. Like, they could afford it. Like when you're a mega million dollar company, like, yeah, you can afford security on your computers. But a lot of times they were trying to save money because, like, back in the 90s, you know, it was a little bit expensive. You had to hire security specialists. All right, anyways, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bore you to death. Like, but a lot of times the only people that even know what you're talking about with regards to this kind of hacker shit is like other computer security people. It's kind of like an esoteric kind of, it's like any other specialty, any other kind of profession that's a specialty. It has its own terminology and junk, and sometimes nobody else is gonna know it except for, I guess your peers. That's a good name, good word to use, right? The people that are in your field, if you will. And the same goes for music. If I say, hey, play me an A major chord, like, it's probably going to take another musician to actually do that and know what I mean, right? Anyway, so yeah, the internet is now kind of like getting a little bit more secure every day. Like, and one of those things is what? Any takers? Any takers? I'll give you a hint. It's called VPNs. Ding, 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 ding. You've probably heard of them, like NordVPN, Mozilla VPN, etc., etc., etc. And I gotta tell you, VPNs could probably save the internet if you think about it, because they're like encrypted, and it's like an end-to-end, like fully encrypted kind of thing that's happening, and it kind of eliminates spies from spying on your data. It kind of eliminates the man-in-the-middle attack, either spying or modifying your data, and it kind of like protects your financial transactions. It kind of protects your records. To just have all this stuff like in a secure tunnel, it's like the difference between having let's just say you have a garden and you have a hose that you water your garden with. Like, is your hose made out of titanium? Is it made out of, like, cloth? Is it made out of plastic, rubber? Like, I can tell you one thing: if your hose was made out of titanium, like, it would probably be the most secure hose in the neighborhood. For whatever reason, maybe it's just to keep your water clean. I don't know. But that's what I'm talking about, is like, yeah, having it encrypted in a VPN like that. There's a whole lot of reasons why that makes your whole internet experience more secure, right? But what, JJ? This doesn't sound like you. You always have something, you always have some kind of twist. You clever, crazy, hacker, dystopian, cyberpunk guy. It's like, I don't always have some weird twist, do I? Like, I guess that's why I listen to punk rock music, and why I play video games, and why I'm kind of a hacker guy. Is that what you're saying? That, like, there's always a caveat? I don't know. Look, man, if you have a provider that's not implementing your VPN service properly, you could be just as vulnerable. You could be more vulnerable than by just having no provider at all. You know that? And what do I mean? What do I mean? I don't know. I'd kind of like to give you a demo. Granted, I don't know if I could do it, like, legally. I'd probably be breaking the law. I don't know. It might involve some unauthorized access, but I know it can be done. It's kind of fucked up. Like, I can read you an old 2600 magazine article that kind of like introduced me to this kind of like scenario, if you will. Like, let me see here. I think this might be the issue. Yeah, this is the one. This is kind of this issue goes back to really kind of my favorite era for the magazine, 2600, the Hacker Quarterly. It's a little bit after when I first started reading it, like and picking it up at my local newsstand. This was probably like maybe my 10th issue that I owned. Like, it was still pretty new, and every issue, you know, this is a quarterly. You only get them like once every. You only get 4 a year. That's how a quarterly works. Okay. So like, and yeah, each new issue was like pretty new and special. Like these days, I got like 2 shoe boxes full of 2600s, and I read them not so much because they're new, special, and exciting. It's like I mean they can be, certainly, but I pretty much just want to know what's going on, like you know, like what's public knowledge, what's not. You know, it's like, and usually it's a very fun, good read, but not like it was back then. Back in when was this one released? Let's see, what page is this also? Let's see. It's page number 8. Summer of 1998. I told you I have this on paper. I own the book. So the fact that I have a digital copy is like, I don't have to worry about a copyright or anything. Like, I own the book. It's kind of like when you own a record, an LP, long plain vinyl record. It's kind of like when you own a VHS videotape with like a barcode and a box and like all that stuff. It's like you basically own it and you can copy it onto whatever you want to because you own it. That's like the law. You can make as many digital backups as you want if you actually own the thing. Just reminding you. Okay, there's nothing fishy about me having this. I'm just letting you know. And I'm sure 2600 wouldn't care, but like, I'm just, in case you want to leave a comment and say something like, "Oh, look at the hacker guy with his digital copy. That doesn't look like it came from Barnes & Noble or Amazon." It's like, no, I didn't. I scanned it. Okay, there. And this is the one that has Janet Reno, like, on the cover. Volume 15, number... What? 2? I think that's it. Yeah. So what is it about this issue? Why? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, right. My computer, my new camera is kind of weird. Like, you know why it's doing that? It's because the lighting is changing. Like, when I have that page, it makes this room light up like a light bulb because it's a white page. And if it isn't like that Janet Reno picture, it is not a white page. It is, and so the room darkens. That's why that keeps happening. All right, so what is it about this issue, huh? What am I trying to tell you? There's an article called, where is it? It's called, hold on. Security through. Let me just read these. It says how to hack your ISP. I think that might be the one. Hacking laser tag, build a modem diverter, newbie guide to NT. Facts about cable modems. Maybe that's the one that I'm... Let's see. Facts about cable modems. Security. Okay, so this is the part where they tell you basically that when cable modems with their DOCSIS protocol and whatnot, you know what I'm talking about, the DOCSIS, like I think it's up to like version 3 or something like that now. Okay. Anyways, when cable modems were first being implemented and being sold, or as a service to cable TV customers and whatnot, these modems, they basically worked like a local area network. What's that? I think everybody knows, but let's just go over it. A local area network, as opposed to a wide area network, is like it's like what I have right here. I got this computer and this computer plugged into that router, and that's a local area network. It's all local, and it's on the same. It's all on a wire, a copper wire, Cat5 wire, and it's whether it's Wi-Fi or whether it's on a wire, it's all basically sniffable, like with a packet sniffer, and like that's the reason why encrypted protocols have always been very important. Like and they were kind of hard to come by when I first started doing this shit. Granted, most of us were still on dial-up modems. So, like, really, even if you were gonna sniff somebody, like, how much were you gonna sniff with a modem? Well, theoretically, not a whole lot. I don't know. Don't really care to talk about that. We're talking about this, okay? Now, what we're talking about is the local area network being easy to sniff, and basically your neighbors in your neighborhood with your cable modem, they're going to be hooked up to the same, like, it's going to be like a big network neighborhood. Like a big local area network for you and your neighbors in the neighborhood, and you're all going to be on, like, an IP address has like 3 dots. You've got your first, and that makes for 4 groups of octets, and that last octet is for like about 255 addresses, but of course the 255th one is like always the broadcast address or what have you. 254 da 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 da, and usually the first one is your gateway, your router. And so what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is I don't know if you've ever used like OpenVPN. It's like a pretty nice program, like server client software. Like if you go, I like to participate in this thing called Hack the Box. I don't know if you're familiar. It's hackthebox.eu. I first found out about it, I think it was back in like 2017, like at a 2600 meeting locally. There's this guy named Sinfidel, and he's like a pretty cool guy, and he told me about it. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like pulltheplug.org, but they have like more of a video game type of interface. Like you can earn points, you can complete objectives, like it's like beating a level in a video game, if you will, but it's also got points, and you get achievements, which is kind of a newer generation console video game kind of concept, if you know what I mean. If you've ever played a retro game, we didn't have achievements back in the 80s and 90s, not like the way they have them on the Xbox and the PS3 and now PC games as well. So yeah, man, the way you would connect, right, to this little site, it's a whole heck of a lot of fun if you ever get into that kind of thing. And of course it got dark in here. Rassafrassa. Let's see if I can fix that. Because I'm trying to be serious here. This is a pretty serious issue, folks. If you think about it. Like I said, these VPNs, they could make the entire internet like secure for everybody if done properly. But if done improperly, if implemented wrong, it could make you more insecure than not having a VPN provider at all. And this is why, let me fix the camera. I think that will work. Oh, we're still looking at the, this window. Okay. Right, of course. Let's switch to, yeah, this one. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Hold on one sec. Oh, right. Here, I'll do it like this instead. So that's their logo. I think they run it over in the UK. And it's, you know, got, you know, they've got like a network all over the world. Like they have American servers. And the way it works is you set up an account. How do you do that? Well, you see, once you start once you want to join the playground, you've got to complete like this initial, you know, hack. You got to like, I don't know what they're doing now. I think back when I got in, it was I think it had to do with like a random number generator or something in JavaScript code, and just like reverse engineering what the value is that it wants. And once you do that, you're in. I think it was a long time. It was like 5 years ago, so I kind of forgot, but it might still be the same thing. But the thing is, once you do that, you get an account, and when you have an account, you can generate a VPN profile that's made just for you. Okay, and if you need to have it regenerated, you just click a button and it comes up with a new public key and a private key, typical RSA style, you know, encrypt, kind of like with email. It's kind of like that with the pretty good privacy or the GNU, like that kind of a thing. But the thing is, look, when you're connected to the VPN, you can access the server that is your playground, but you can also be accessed. Like there's other players that can be accessed because it's like a local area network. And it's a real good idea to take some basic precautions, like having your computer's software firewall turned on. Maybe like if you're on a Linux or Unix or I don't know, like you could put they have a file in your /etc directory in the root, the etc. You could go into your host.allow or your host.deny, and you could modify those accordingly. Perhaps denying everything, so that way you can only connect locally from your loopback address. I don't know, but that's something to consider, right? Oh, that's what he means when he says that a VPN implemented badly allows everybody to access my shit. I see. Like, what could they access, JJ? Well, gee, I don't know. What are you running? Do you have a Windows Network Neighborhood running? Like, that's the kind of thing that another VPNer would be able to check out. All they'd have to do is type in your address, which is usually like what? Something that starts with the number 10? Isn't that usually the first octet on all these? Like, what does NordVPN do? Don't they do 10? I'm not a customer, I don't know. But that's about all I have to say. At this point, I could just like do demonstrations, you know. But this is kind of like where I was getting my first real VPN access experience, you know, was connecting to this place and earning a whole lot of points for my user. Oh, I thought I. Oh, do I? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's me. Oh, no thanks. Like I'm just showing you this for I don't know. Maybe you're wondering. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you got other things to, do today. Yeah, that's cool. There's Zot with his little 8-bit video game skull. And what's the deal? What's the deal, JJ? You're okay. You're all right. You're elite. I have been avoiding the guru status on purpose because it's it is what it is. I don't know. If you're on here, you probably know what I mean. What makes me so elite? I don't know. Nothing at the moment. I haven't done anything on there in a while. So I've been busy with like streaming and stuff. But at one point, I was pretty. Oh, and I'm still a member of this group, the Corsairs. That's pretty cool. And oh yeah, this is more of a breakdown of what I'm talking about. Let's see here. 161 users hacked. 152 systems hacked. That's like I was saying, it's kind of like a video game. So that's like basically, let's just say 150. Let's just say 300. Let's just say that I've done 300 challenges, because a user challenge and a system challenge those are the two goals for every new computer that they put up on Saturday. And I've done 150, and I'm rounding down. You see, the real number is 152 and 161. So there's like 9 systems that I never actually got root on. I know, it bothers me too. I would have liked to have. If I were to subscribe and get a VIP subscription, I could revisit those systems, and I could get my root, get my admin access. But if that doesn't tell you anything about my pursuits, then I guess none of this made sense. Anyway, and yeah, like I was saying earlier, the way I connected to this stuff was by VPN, OpenVPN, and it leaves you totally wide open and vulnerable if you don't do it right. Because look, if you got your network neighborhood available, right? Well, then they might your neighbors might try to access your hard drive. That's a common thing for the network neighborhood. Or I know, how about maybe if you have a cell phone that you connect to your VPN for when you're out and about using, I don't know, maybe public Wi-Fi access points. You think you're safe because you're using your VPN, right? Because that's been a big problem. Is a lot of people have been connecting to Wi-Fi access points, open ones, and if you don't type in a password to get into your Wi-Fi, it's unencrypted, it's wide open, and it's definitely easy to spy on. Or maybe even man in the middle, who knows? This is not, news. I'm just reiterating why it's bad. And if you have a cell phone, maybe it's jailbroken. Maybe you have remote debugging turned on port 5555. That's the default one. Maybe you have an SSH server running for convenience. But maybe your password is something simple like your username, which is easy to determine like a lot of the time. I think, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and yeah, I hope you have a good day. Stick around for the next lecture, and you'll like... God damn, that's a lot of shit. Fucking A, I'm not even halfway done. Look at my little box on the right side. I'll scroll. Oh my god. You're alright, kid. You're elite. Okay. You guys, you know where that's from, right? That's what Johnny Lee Miller says to Angelina Jolie in that one movie. Yeah. I feel good because there's a lot of people that don't have any fucking clue that the VPN that they're paying money for, like a monthly subscription of like $3 a month. There's people out there that have no clue that it's actually making them highly vulnerable. And really the only way you can tell is if you test your shit. Like a good way to test it would be to use a program like a basic port scanner. Usually has a ping type of feature. ICMP ping is typically a good way to see if there's any other hosts on your, I guess, Class C network is probably like what you're going to be connected to, like a 255. It's like a /24 if you know anything about the Internet IP4 addressing scheme. But yeah, a port scanner usually has the ping. Granted, if you know what port you have open on your system, well, you could just like scan your neighbors and see if they have that port open too. That's another option. You don't even have to really ping if you're just looking for the open port. That's something to consider. Let me see, where'd that thing go? Oh, my window capture. I'm so terrible at this streaming stuff. I always drag my video sources off the window so far away I can't get them back. And then I gotta re-add them again. Alright, here we go. Getting my window capture for that. Okay, got it. Okay. So let me put that underneath. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Where was I? Ah, yes. So let's say you've got your thingamabob, your shell. Okay. Yeah, it's real easy to test. I mean, like, you just type in a command like, oops. 10 asterisk. That's about the easiest way you could do it with Nmap. Yeah, that would work. And that would tell you, maybe, who knows? Who knows how many hosts might be on a 255 address space kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? And I mean, sometimes you got to use like a root command. You can either type sudo in front of everything, every command, every time, or you could like, like that, and then you get a root hash. And then, well, I I suppose there's other ones out, like, oh yeah, that was the ping scan. If you were gonna do like testing for that, like, if you don't know what port 5555 is, it's like when you root your Android and you turn on the debugging, like the Android debug bridge, I think is what the B stands for. Yeah, you can either do it locally over the USB, or you can have a remote internet kind of thing going on, and it's on that port that you know, P like that. And then, like, you know, we'd go back to that or maybe, like, I think you can use this notation too, and it's a good way to test, especially if you're using like a VPN, like if you're using an app that's made for a cell phone, like an iPhone or an Android. Like, it's probably safe to say it's gonna have nothing but cell phone customers on your network block. There's probably not gonna be any desktop computers. At least there shouldn't be, unless there's like a really savvy cell phone user that rooted their shit and knows where to find the VPN configuration files. You'd think that would be hard to get, right? I don't know, don't ask me. I'm not getting paid. I'm not even trying to make a name for myself. I'm not a professional. I'm an amateur. I'm a musician. Hey, what do you think of my shirt? Okay, as I said, that's how to test your shit, those 2 commands. If you want to use a different program, be my guest, but Nmap is about as general as it gets. Like, everybody has been using Nmap for the past, like, 30 years. It's universally accepted and known and good. It gets the job done. Good luck. And now I'm going to talk to you about my shirt. Because when we were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the other day, remember when we were looking up the Renaissance artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Donatello and Michelangelo and Raphael? I was like, when we were looking up Leonardo, I'm like, oh dude, it's the Vitruvian Man. I got a t-shirt just like that. But what's special about my Vitruvian Man shirt that is not a part of Leonardo da Vinci's? It's like, instead of a dong, instead of this guy's wangly dangle, like in the Vitruvian Man. No, man, mine. I got the guitar. I love this shirt. It's got class, man. I tell you what. And I'd like to think that I'm kind of a Renaissance man. I mean, like, think about it. You ever, like, see these comic book characters that they have in the movies, like, and in the comic books? You know, like, Iron Man isn't just a guy in an Iron Man suit. He's also an entrepreneur. And everything that entails, right? So, like, yeah, I'm a musician, and I'm also a highly sophisticated computer hacker that's been at this for almost 30 years now. Basically been playing music and hacking the same amount of time. Got into it young. So there you go. That's kind of like a Renaissance person. We were talking about it on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode of the stream here. The exact the difference between somebody that's a, quote, Jack or Jill, whatever, of all trades, and the difference between that and a Renaissance person. I think we determined that the Renaissance person is kind of more of a specialist, whereas the person of all trades is more like just a very handy person that's probably capable of picking up most skills, with regards to fixing things or what have you. But yeah, when you're a specialist in songwriting, learning cover songs, new songs, like playing multiple instruments, and like instructing others in how to do the same thing. And when you know how to secure a computer system, break into a computer system, tear it apart, put it back together, network them with other systems of varying types. When you know the varying architecture differences of different microprocessors of classical nature and modern nature, you know, like it's a specialist. It's kind of a Renaissance person. It's kind of like Peter Parker is not just Spider-Man. He's like a college student, and you know, it's not that weird. Because like if you think about your average entertainer, like a person that acts in things, like a movie star or a TV star. If you think about it, and musicians fit into this category as well, these people usually have to memorize things, like their scripts, their lines, their songs, other people's songs. And, you know, you may not necessarily have like an eidetic memory all the time. It doesn't always take a photographic memory to have a job as an entertainer. But I tell you, it sure does help if you do. And if you do got a good memory like that, not so far-fetched anymore. They could easily be a Renaissance person. It really helps if you got a killer memory. But some of us spend most of our time trying to forget things. And I think I'm going to forget about this stream for a while. You like the camera? I got it for you. It's HD. I got it for $12 during the Black Friday. Oh no, I think this was more of a Cyber Monday. I can't remember. I think it's like a $40 camera that I got for $12 off of eBay. Brand new. It's called an Aukey. Aukee. Key. Yeah. I don't know if I should be telling you that. Maybe it's got a bug. Maybe you're gonna hack me now because you know I'm using an Aukey. Whatever. Like, big fucking deal. I'll see you later, alright? Have a good day. Maybe I'll be back later. Take care.